this morning our topic is very, very relevant, in particular because of the time limit to really end the grace period, which started from January and it will end on the 30th of June. So what I'm going to say is basically how to avoid delays with decisions in relation to your EU settlement applications. So first of all, we all know that when this process started in 2019, you could get a decision within a matter of hours. It was really that simple and fairly straightforward. Unfortunately, with time and with the sheer number of applications, there has been an untold number of people who have suffered delay, and it's quite significant. Some of the delays are usually in months, and we've had instances where it's in excess of 6 months. So how do you avoid delays in EU settlement applications? The first thing that you need to remember is that your EU settlement application was laid out by law. So the law also sets out the procedures and the processes that you need to follow to make your application. For example, if you've got a biometric card, whether you're an EU national or not, you have to use the app to make your application. If you haven't got a biometric card and you've got a passport and you're a non-EU national, then you have to use the online application process and not a paper application. The online application process will require you to register an email and a mobile phone number. Now, please remember, and this is some of the reasons why we are experiencing high numbers of delays. If you've given your mobile number and your email address to the Home Office to register your EU settlement application, ensure that if you change the mobile number or the email, you update the Home Office. Okay? The number of times that the Home Office have said that they've made attempts to reach applicants or applicants' representatives without success is significant. And to avoid delay, make sure that the Home Office has your current mobile number and your email address, because that is the only way they can reach you. It's not by post, it's by email or by a call through your mobile phone. I always advise that if you're one of those people that changes their mobile numbers on a regular basis, like you're changing your shirt, then it's important that you allow your legal representative to use their mobile number and their email, because I have had my mobile number for over 20 years. It's never been changed. Our email is permanent, so that has not been changed. And if the Home Office wants to contact you, they can reach you through us, either by mobile phone call or by email. The other tip that I want to give you is that when you make your application, please be mindful of what the law says. The law says eligibility requirement. So when the law says that something is a requirement, it means that you need to meet that test before you can progress to the next level. The consideration stage are two parts. So first of all, they check the validity of the application and then the eligibility process. So for example, if you're relying on an EA national, make sure you've got evidence of the relationship, which can be either a birth certificate or a marriage certificate, or birth certificates and the marriage certificate. Because if you're relying on your sister's marriage or your uncle's marriage, or you're relying on an uncle, it's not going to be just one birth certificate. It will be a series of birth certificates to confirm the relationship. Because for them to progress to the final stage, you need to satisfy the relationship part. So if you're relying on your wife, you need to show your marriage certificate in addition to the evidence that your wife is an EA national. If you're relying on your stepmother, you need to show your birth certificate and your father's marriage certificate to confirm your relationship to your father and your father's relationship to your stepmother. These are very basic requirements, and you need to upload these documents to the application portal. not the biometric portal, but the application portal, which is a UKVI portal. Also be mindful that it's not every application which is straightforward. So for example, if you've made a previous application which was refused, just be mindful that they can refuse your application again. So what we do as a firm is that in addition to required documents, we also write a letter, mainly composed in legal language, to explain and advise as to why we believe that your application must be successful. So you need to do a cover letter. Once you've done the cover letter, you need to scan the cover letter or take a picture of the cover letter and upload the cover letter. Please be mindful that when you're uploading, there are two types of formats that you can upload. If it's a picture, you can upload a JPEG format. If it's a document, then it has to be the PDF format. Remember that if you use your phone to take a picture of a document, you have taken a JPEG, and JPEG cannot be uploaded as a PDF unless you convert it. These are some of the reasons why it's taken longer for a decision to be made. The other issue is that if there is any pending prosecution, a conviction, character issue, please explain in your application. So for example, the online application does not give you a space or a page for you to write and explain why your application is different or explain peculiar circumstances of your application. However, a cover letter, which is not emailed but is uploaded to the portal, must be sent. When the Home Office emails you and asks for documents, please don't respond by emailing. You need to respond by uploading the response onto the portal. The final thing that I want to raise is the issue of extended family members who are making EUSS applications. Remember that after the 31st of December, only extended family members who have a specified document, and the definition of specified document in the definitions section of the Appendix EU is a residence card or a family permit that has been given to the extended family member. So again, if you are an extended family member and you're making an EUSS application, which you can make, but you need to have a specified document, which is that you have previously been granted a residence card or a family permit to join your extended family member in the UK. Now, I've said all this, but there are people who have done everything that I've said, but they still are having issues with delay. So what do? The first thing you do if there's a delay is to call the EU Resolution Center. So the EU Resolution Center is basically a center which has been set up specifically to deal with issues after applications. So once you've lodged the application and there's a delay, if you call their number is 0300 123 7379. So if you call the EU Settlement Resolution Center, the number is 0300 123 7379. What I also find helpful is what we call the EU Settlement Resolution Center Questionnaire. It's online, so you can fill the portal. It's not the same as a portal that you've made your application on. It's a different portal. It's called the EU Settlement Resolution Center Questionnaire. So if you complete the questionnaire with the application, application number, which we usually will start with a 3434, they will respond to you within a matter of 5 working days. You will get a response. Now, the timeline for decisions are between 8 weeks for a 5-year residence card to 6 months for settlement. So 8 weeks to 6 months. Just be mindful that when you call the EU Settlement Resolution Center, they may tell you that your application has not been with them for 8 weeks, because it takes about 8 weeks for your application to show on the EU Settlement Resolution Center. The other part that you can also use to make sure that you expedite your application is what we call the Home Office Complaints Portal. Now, I use the word portal because this is not email and it's not letter writing. It's a portal that has been set up by the Home Office. So it's called the UKVI Complaints Portal. It's online. When you click it, it will tell you to start the process. Once you click the start, it opens another portal for you. It's just like a questionnaire where you have to input certain data. If that doesn't work and your application is still stored after, let's say, 10 working days after you've made your complaint, you can take it further to your Member of Parliament. Members of Parliament can also expedite your application process. Again, please, every process, complaint process, expedition process, application process that you're making, collect the evidence, because the final act that you will have to undertake may be a legal process. And the only way that your legal process will succeed is if you can show that you've gone through all the other processes and yet still your application has been stalled. My final advice to all of you is that if you move houses, please update the Home Office immediately. And the only way to update them is not by writing a letter to them, but it's also to go on the EU Resolution Portal and do the change of address or change of telephone number or change of email. Please just be mindful that what we're dealing with is a huge number of backlog, potentially months of delay. And this can only be stopped if you start your application process using the normal portals, the required portals and the processes, following the eligibility requirements and providing all your supporting evidence upfront. If you do that and it still doesn't work, then you can have recourse to the courts and start a judicial review. A judicial review process can be used for delayed cases if it's unlawful, it's procedurally unfair, or it's done right too long for you to wait for the decision. You will need legal advice and a lawyer to support you through that process. Again, you can make your own case, you can submit your own applications, but if you want to make a complaint or go to your MP or follow the online portal, please collect all the other evidence so that you can use the evidence as evidence of having made amicable attempts to have this resolved before you resort to the court process. So Manyati, this is where that I want my brothers and sisters to know that clearly the delay sometimes is not caused by the Home Office, but it's caused by us because we don't submit all the necessary documents, or we've changed our telephone number or our email, or it may even be that your biometric resident permit, your BRP, has been posted to you and it's been returned. And once it's returned, it has to go through a lot of processes before they can bring it back or reissue you with another card.